What is going on, party people? It's your boy, CHH. I'm here. I rebranded to Planet CHH for a reason, to open myself up, because the interesting thing is a lot of you guys that reach out to me, we don't even always talk horror. We talk Michael J. Fox, we talk Arnold Schwarzenegger, we talk Sylvester Stallone, we talk Jean-Claude Van Damme, we talk Steven Seagal, we talk Chevy Chase. And I rebranded for a reason, to expand. So I want to get into some physical media episodes that are non-horror. It also gives you an idea of what kind of movies I like. Now, on my live streams I've been talking about a lot of this stuff, but let's just get right into it. These are 10 4K movies, non-horror, you need to own. Let's start with one of my favorites of all time. You can probably see a little bit of it right over there. The Last Action Hero. It's a super nice steelbook that I still kick myself in the ass every day for not getting. But you know what? I have the movie. Of course, you need to have this if you're even remotely a fan of action, adventure, comedy, all of the above. Great cast, super amazing soundtrack. This movie has a legendary soundtrack. Alice in Chains, AC/DC, Megadeth's in here. Phenomenal soundtrack. So, yeah, The Last Action Hero 4K is definitely one I recommend. I mean, man, the Running Man Steelbook. I think this is also still available. Like, you can go on Amazon and get it. This thing is super nice. And this is one of the most incredible films because it was directed by Paul Michael Glaser, an extremely talented director. The Running Man is one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies, and it's never really in the conversation, and it's not something I'm going to be like, oh my god, it's underrated. I think Arnold's has so many good movies, but there are those top tier ones that get mentioned a lot, like Terminator 2. Even Commando, I feel like gets mentioned a little bit more than The Running Man, and granted, it may be a better film to a lot of people, but to me, The Running Man is hysterical, and any time I see Jesse the Body in there, that's an automatic B+ from the start. Automatic B+. That's why I don't hate Major League 2. All right, so when it comes to Jean-Claude, I mean, we need more of his films on 4K. There's no denying that. But Kino Lorber absolutely destroyed, in a good way, Hard Target. Fun fact, my dad saw the set of this movie one day, because I'm from New Orleans. We used to live there before Hurricane Katrina. And my dad drove past the set of this movie one day. So he drove past the set of this, and he also saw Candyman 2. So, yeah, they were filming a lot of movies in New Orleans in the 90s, and my dad, witnessed some of the sets, so. But yeah, anyway, this 4K from Kino Lorber, fantastic. Shout out to my boy Kyle for hooking me up with this. This is such a gripping, awesome action film. It takes place in New Orleans, and Lance Henriksen is the lead villain. So if that doesn't entice you, you need to check your pulse. We're going to stick with Arnie again. I know. And don't worry, it's not Terminator 2. You think I don't know about that horrible transfer that they did? But you know what's not a horrible transfer is Total Recall. They killed it. Absolutely killed it with Total Recall. This was an outstanding 4K. And I remember the special features were great. Again, this has a remarkable director. This was the guy that did RoboCop, I believe. Total Recall, it's funny because, of course, the 4K looks great. There's great special features on here, too. Total Access, How Carolco Changed Hollywood documentary. I remember that was really cool. Carolco is not in business anymore, but they were a big company at the time. The remake, I don't care. Doesn't touch the original Total Recall. I'm not even saying I dislike the remake. This is how you start the 90s. That's how you start the 90s. Stallone had Rocky V, which was, I like it. But come on, Schwarzenegger did win 1990. Greatest comedian of the 1980s, Chevy Chase. This was a really good 4K, and what I loved about Christmas Vacation was that they also gave us the Macy's catalog cover art. I always watch Christmas Vacation in the summer, so I'm ripe to revisit that pretty soon. So, Christmas Vacation, but I love this movie. How can you not? It's one of the greatest. And when Christmas time hits, I swap out the National Lampoon's Vacation poster. We are reviewing that, by the way. I will be the first one. I don't care what I have to do. I am reviewing Vacation the very first second I can on 4K. But, yeah, I love this movie. They did a great job on the 4K, and it was worth the wait. So, I think this is something everybody should own. And any form of physical media collector, no matter what kind of genre you specialize in, you got to have the Back to the Future trilogy on 4K. This is probably some of the best 4K upscales I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the movies looked immaculate. But you got to think about it, too. Titles like this, even in a market where people could argue physical media is in a decline and things like that, which I'm not arguing that. Clearly, we're not selling as many movies today as we were in 1999, 2000, 2001. But when you've got titles that continuously sell, they don't skimp out on what they do. Like, for instance, Jaws was an immaculate 4K. And Back to the Future, the trilogy is perfection. I mean, these look, they look sensational. And if you have a QLED or OLED TV, it's just remarkable. Drop a comment below on your thoughts on Back to the Future 3. I was talking to my friend Alexis about this, and she actually just saw the movie. A lot of us that saw Back to the Future 3 when we were kids, we may not have loved it. But as we've gotten older, it's like, oh my God, like this movie is so endearing. Like, and I really love it. And it becomes the Back to the Future film you'll throw on at a moment's notice. And really quick, I'm going to pull up the original Back to the Future 3 poster that got axed, and then they went with the other design, this one, which was uniform with the rest. But going back to the other one, tell me that's not cooler. That is way cooler. I can't believe they didn't use that. But yes, go out of your way, get to the Back to the Future trilogy on 4K. This is, if my house was on fire, I'm grabbing this. I'm next throwing a curveball at you guys. I don't even own all these films. Granted, I haven't even seen all of them, but I've seen the first 3. But one of the best 4Ks from Paramount I've seen is The Wrath of Khan. And I'm not even a really big Star Trek fan, but this movie is sensational. And I'll keep it spoiler-free. If you haven't seen any of these movies, you really don't need to see the first one at all. You really don't need to see any other ones if you're really not into that kind of stuff. But this is like barrier-breaking, just an amazing film. Amazing film. And it's one of those instances where the first movie really I don't think did that well, but they refused to give up, and they came out with this movie. This movie is so entertaining. Gripping, entertaining. I love every drop of The Wrath of Khan. This is like an amazing movie. Go to some gangster stuff. Possibly my favorite Martin Scorsese film, and one of my favorite 4K UHDs I own. We're talking Casino. Pesci and De Niro are just like that yin and yang, right? And they work so well. We saw it just a few years ago in The Irishman too, and that's my favorite Scorsese film, believe it or not. I fell in love with The Irishman. It's too bad we don't have a 4K of that, but I've got that Criterion release of it. But this Casino 4K is sensational, looks amazing, and I want to say it's probably presented in the exact way that Martin shot it too, because it's got fairly big black bars, so I imagine we're seeing it exactly the way he shot it. But regardless, flawless 4K. This is one of those movies that makes you say, this is what the format can do. It did for me, for sure, because I got some blunders on 4K. I remember getting Zombieland Double Tap, and I said, why did I waste my money? But then I got Casino, and it was like, that's why. That's why I got 4K. I mean, these are titles that people should just have. I mean, they really should. We're talking Scarface. I mean, I remember getting this the day I saw it in the store. I didn't even know that it had come out on 4K, and I mean, what can I say? Sensational. I have one of those old steel books of Scarface when they were doing like that comic book art on the front, and I remember doing some comparing notes on these two, and this just floored it. I mean, just floored it. And I guarantee you can get Scarface pretty cheap now. But sensational 4K. I love the Scarface. And I don't know if there's any other editions in this gold edition. I don't know what that means really. If that's supposed to mean anything, but sensational one. Just for the fuck of it, let's throw in, it's actually a really good 4K. You gotta get The Fifth Element. I love The Fifth Element, and this 4K actually looks extremely good. Because you gotta remember, this was 97, so I believe this was still shot on film and everything. And it's one of Bruce's best movies, if you ask me. And, you know, stick with us, Bruce. I hope you're doing okay, buddy. I know he's got a lot of stuff going on with, like, I think some sort of dementia or something, but I mean, Bruce had it going on in the 90s. He really kind of like Bruce could do stuff that I don't think Arnold or Sly could dive into. He could go into a really weird element of like comedy and things like that, and just certain kind of roles that I don't think was interchangeable with a lot of other guys. And I think that's why people love Bruce, is because he could kind of do it all. And he's also a musician too. But The Fifth Element is a great 4K. I really recommend it. Shout out again to my buddy Kyle for sending me this one. Love it. So there you go, guys. Those are 10 4K movies, non-horror, I want you to own. If you guys enjoy this, please make sure you let your voices be heard so I know. Don't just be, you know, a pair of eyes. Try to let me know what you guys like, because if you like stuff, I want to continue to give it to you and bring it to you guys, but please make your voices heard. So drop a comment below. Also, give a recommendation for another movie on 4K. I almost threw in Howard the Duck, but I could already hear the winces at that because I don't think a lot of people like Howard the Duck, so I kind of held off on that. But let me know, guys. Drop your comments below and tell me what you think. Thank you for watching this video. I really love you guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Hey, a huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.